I'm going to explain why we will see the return of the Faceless Men in Jaqen and why it's so important that we see them in Game of Thrones Season 8. The Order of the Faceless Men and those who serve the many-faced god are one of the most interesting parts of the story, and although we don't know their true motivations, I believe I found out why they took such a particular interest in Arya Stark. This video will mainly be focused on Arya Stark, Jaqen and Jaime Lannister, and you will want to stay until the end of the video because I have a nuclear bomb level revelation. But before we get to the endgame, I want to first talk about their ideologies and their influences. In my research, the more I read, the more I likened the Faceless Men and the Many-Faced God to be a combination of the Thuggee cult and the Indian philosophy rooted in Vedantism. Let's start with the Thuggee cult. The English language word for thug traces its roots back to the Hindi word thag, which means swindler or deceiver. And this is very interesting because of the Faceless Men's ability to wear other faces and dissolve ego. The thugs traveled in groups across the sub-Indian continent for 600 years, and they were professional robbers and murderers. And although the thugs' origins can be traced back to the 7 Muslim tribes, the Hindus appear to have been associated with them at a very early period. The Thuggees were a secret cult of whose members, both Muslim and Hindu, worshipped Mother Kali, the goddess of destruction, and this is quite similar to what the Faceless Men believe in. There is one god, and that god is death. Kali was also known as Kalika, a Hindu goddess, and Kali's earliest appearance is that of a destroyer of evil forces. And over time she has been worshipped by devotional movements and is considered to be the divine mother of the universe. She is seen as a divine protector and the one who bestows moksha, or liberation, or as we know within the Order of the Faceless Men, the gift, or the gift of death. This is why I believe Arya is so important and why I believe the Faceless Men actually admire her and liken her to the many-faced god or the Faith of the Seven's god, the Stranger. But this isn't the only interesting parallel I found in my research. As we know, all of the houses have a particular saying like winter is coming, or ideologies that are rich within their culture. And so did the thugs. The thugs believed they had a positive role in actually saving human lives. Without the thugs' sacred service, Kali might destroy all of humankind. It is God who kills, but Bhavani has a name for it. Remember when Syrio Forel said there is only one God and his name is death? Well, I'm one of those people who find it very convenient when and how Jaqen appeared in the story. And although it may have seemed like they wanted her to follow their rules, I believe there is something much greater at play here. I think that Jaqen knows that her destiny will become much bigger and darker than just being a Faceless Man. And if he truly wanted her dead, he would have taken the matter into his own hands instead of letting the wave go after her. They believe that Arya is their Azor Ahai-like figure, a literal god of death that will ensure balance. Let me explain. In Hinduism, Vedanta is the system of philosophy that further develops the implication that all reality is a single principle, Brahman. And Brahman teaches that the believer's goal is to transcend the limitations of self-identity and to realize one's unity with Brahman. Brahman is a gender-neutral word meaning the concept of transcendence and the immanent or ultimate reality. This is exactly what I'm talking about, Jaqen and Arya's destiny, and here's where things start to get absolutely crazy. Fasten your seatbelts aboard the hype train. The word Brahman is gender neutral, and I believe that Jaqen is trying to get Arya to not only realize her maximum potential and destiny, but I believe everything the Faceless Men has done is for a reason, and this all leads to the Valonqar prophecy. There will come a point in Season 8 where our big group, our congregation at Winterfell, will split up because the Night King attacks Winterfell with Viserion. Jon will tell everyone to get out and Sandor will end up saving Arya and they will take off south and connect with Jaime Lannister. We have to remember that Jaime had an oath to Catelyn Stark to protect Sansa and Arya, or at least find them, and he will help Sandor and Arya get south. On their way south to King's Landing, they will encounter parts of the army of the undead as the Night King's power grows within Westeros, and Jaqen will finally make his appearance. He will say that he has a name for Arya, and when he says Cersei, Sandor, and Jaime will definitely find this odd. But blowing up the Sept of Baelor and taking names from the God of Death will basically give Arya the okay to fulfill her destiny and kill the Queen of the Seven Kingdoms. But I believe during their travels together, Jaime will have an epiphany because the North is overrun, and with Arya, Sandor, and Brienne, they will go to King's Landing to try to get Cersei to plead to evacuate south. I mean, do they really want the Night King's army to become unstoppable? If he went to King's Landing and came with his dragon, don't we think that it would become unstoppable? But at this point, it will be too late, because Cersei will have reached Aerys the Mad King level of paranoia and madness because she had a miscarriage. And this is when the Clegane Bowl is going to go down, and it's going to be absolutely epic. But it doesn't stop there. I believe it won't just be the Mountain, however. There will be an elite guard of Golden Company soldiers, and Arya will go on a massive killing spree, taking out all the members of the Golden Company. Jaime and Brienne and Sandor will deal with his undead brother, and in the end, I believe the Mountain will be defeated, and Arya and Jaime will both want to go for Cersei. Ultimately, the Valonqar prophecy will have had more than one person really contribute to Cersei's death, but perhaps while Jaime is choking out Cersei, Arya will join him. One hand each. I highly doubt this will happen, but that would be amazing. And as the army of the dead will have reached King's Landing at this point, Jaime will pass his oath on to Sandor to get Arya to safety. It's quite possible that Brienne dies in this scenario, which would make Jaime's next decision a lot easier. To blow up the Red Keep with the rest of the wildfire to ignite the massive amount of whites that will now fill the streets of King's Landing. Jaime will finally get his redemption, appeasing the God of Death and the Night King who mocks the gift of death, by doing this very thing he tried to prevent when he killed the Mad King Aerys Targaryen. But this isn't the end for Arya. Part of the reason why the Faceless Men and Jaqen will resurface is because they understand if the Night King gets his way, they will truly not be able to serve the God of Death. But by letting Arya live and push on her path where she gets to see the death of Cersei and the Mountain, will have let her ascend to the potential they believe she has always had. And while I don't think Arya will kill the Night King, it's certainly possible in the final battle that she kills a White Walker, a mockery of the gift of death. Sir Gregor, she chanted as she crossed the stone bridge supported by 4 arches. From the center of his span she could see the massive ships in Aragman's harbor. Dunsen, Wrath the Sweetling, Sir Ilyn, Sir Meryn, and Cersei. Rain began to fall. Arya turned her face up to let the raindrops wash her cheeks. She was so happy that she could dance. Valor Morghulis, she said. Valor Morghulis, Valor Morghulis. I really do believe that we will get more of a sweet than bitter ending with Arya when it comes to the show, and this has been on my mind for quite some time, so I really hope you enjoyed the video. And in my next theory video I'm about to put out tomorrow, I'm going to explain why we will see the return of Ned Stark in Season 8. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more in-depth content on Game of Thrones, and if you really enjoyed this video, you should consider supporting the channel on Patreon. A huge thank you to all of the amazing donors. I'll see you in the next video. Hype and love.
Fuck the king.
How much for your little clam?
Voices,